science, the formula for change, that nobody's put into this particular format, lucky for us, starts with F. For us to change, we have to farc. Now keep breathing. It's spelt F-A-R-C, okay? Now on the count of 3, turn to your joy buddy and say, I am a farker, I am a farker. Ready? 1, 2, 3, go. I am a farker, I am a farker. Now, just as Alvin Toffler said, we have to learn, unlearn, and relearn. I think we have to farc, unfarc, and refarc. And seriously, life is all about farking, unfarking, and refarking. Now, to explain farking, let's just look at this for a minute. So if we go back here, where I had a spare page, with farking, here's your brain. Oh, well, I'm getting worse. If you're very visual, this will drive you nuts. So, the first time you do a new thing, you get a little scratch on the brain. So the first time you farc, there's a little scratch. And each time you farc after that, the scratch gets deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper until it becomes so deep it becomes automatic and gets stored in the basal ganglia. This is true. I sound like an idiot, but I actually know what I'm talking about. So, think driving. Do you remember your first driving lessons? You're sitting there like this, gripping the wheel, you're sheet white, you're not breathing, your toes are down there, and your parent is sheet white next to you and they're screaming, stop, stop, and you're going, how, because you're focusing on so many new things and there's all this farking happening. And now, how many times do you drive home, you're on the phone, you're eating something, you're listening to the radio, you're sending a fax out your butt, and you get home and you don't even know how you got there. That's because you farked so often driving that it's stored in your basal ganglia and now it's habit. Bad news though, because all your other habits and patterns and thought patterns are also in your basal ganglia, automatic. So to change them, we have to unfark. We have to catch it just as it starts off and refark another way. So you've got to unfark, refark, unfark, refark, unfark, refark. And then this becomes the new automatic. But you know how people say, oh, it's 21 days, 21 days, you have a new habit. No, 66 days. Bummer. 66 to 200. They're not sure quite how long, but 66 is usually the minimum. So you may want to remember that you've got to be a joy spot for the next 66 days and a CJF and all those other little things that we've talked about, do to-das for 66 days, and then things start to change. So if we go back to farking, what is farking? So the F is F-U-S. What is it? Focus, yeah. If you're going to change any behavior, thought, habit, or pattern, you've got to focus on it because we're living lives of habits and patterns ruled unconsciously by fear. And so it's unconscious. We don't even know we're doing it. So focusing really means that you become conscious of the habit, oh look at Madden H, or the pattern, or the behavior. Pattern, there we go. And if you focus on it, then you can start to become aware of the triggers driving those patterns and habits. And those triggers are 9 out of 10 times fears. So you've got to start to become aware of the fears that are driving those behaviors. And then we have to do what EAT with the new behaviors. Repeat the new behaviors because you've got to refark, and to make it automatic you have to refark a lot, and then this is very important for the brain. C-B-R-A-T-E. Celebrate, yeah, the brain loves to celebrate, so preferably without alcohol, but it doesn't need a big shebang celebration. Any small change you do, any small change the people at work do in your team, any change anywhere, celebrate it. Because that cements it in the brain. So if you like, celebration cements. And it doesn't, like, just make sure you celebrate. Whatever it is, celebrate the tiniest little things. The fact that you got home and, because you know, you'll leave an event like this, especially with the culture you've got in your petri dish. This is a pretty special culture. I've been speaking 26 years, 28 years, and I haven't been in another place where this sort of culture exists. And so you leave here, you are feeling $1 million, you are full of joy, you are close to love, you've had like Wayne, and life is amazing, and you've had all these incredible people around you, and you get in the car, bus, plane, train to go home. You get on the plane, and you've managed to love everybody in the plane and practiced everything you've preached. You're a joy spot. You've made everybody laugh. You get home, walk in the door, and boom, life hits you. True? So that's your testing ground. That's where you're going to have to practice most of it. That's where you've got to do the farking and celebrate. And it's obvious some of you, come from the same house. That's really good because you're not going to get hit with a brick wall when you get home. So you want to pick just a few things that you're really going to focus on when you get home and start going through those because it makes such a difference. Now, it makes such a difference to just have a small number because otherwise you'll be overwhelmed when you get home. They'll go, yeah, what happened to the person I was living with, like, where have they gone? And don't walk in the door and go, hi, what's the best thing that's happened to you since I last met? Don't ask them that. You've got to work up to that one, okay? When they say, oh, how was it? Oh, it's really great. And I've got a great tip for the kids, something that we can do to help teach the kids optimism. And oh, yeah, what's that? Well, we all ask each other, what's the best thing that's happened to you all day? And if you give them a bit of warning, it's all right. Now, here's the other thing. I'll give you a codicil for that one. Where do we learn to give love? From our parents. See, most people go, what? It was a bit left field. So think about it. Where do we learn to give love? From our parents. We watch our parents, don't we? Now, whoever said to parents, well, we must give you a Love 101 class, how to teach your children? Nah, we just, two people come together, they love each other, they do all this stuff, and they think that's great. And then you do it to the kids, and the kids learn how to do it. Well, I didn't know any of this till I was going out with a bloke called Anton, 100 years ago now. But anyway, so I'm going out with Anton, and it's in the early days of the relationship. And we come into the car park. Oh, you don't call it a car park. Yeah, garage, thanks. Come into the garage of his apartments, and it's a Sunday night. I'm dressed like a dag. That's like bad. And I got a pillow under one arm and a bag in the other. Now, you wouldn't have to be Einstein to work out it's on between us. Well, unbeknownst to me, there's this woman called Helen who lives in the unit next door to him. Well, this particular night, this sporty little red car drives down and pulls in right next to his car. And out steps this woman who has this long, thick, curly, gorgeous black hair to here. She has jeans that have been sprayed onto her legs, which go to her armpits. She has a black see-through blouse on with pockets here. And I'm like, she walks up to Anton and she completely ignores me, right? She starts rubbing her body up and down his, going, oh, hello, Anton. I'm standing there going, ew. She ignores me and she says, oh, you're so strong. Now I'm a mature, intelligent, professional woman. I'm going, in the corner. I'm here to share with the women in this room, do not be mature, intelligent, or professional. Wherever you can, slip these words into the conversation. We used to joke about it afterwards. I'd go up and I'd give him a jar I couldn't get the lid off. And I'd go, could you? And he'd do it and I'd go, oh, you're so strong. He knew I was joking and he'd still go, oh, it's nothing. I used to do this with removalists, and I genuinely meant it because I'd sort of pick up a washing machine with a little finger and I go, man, you're so strong. And one day, I don't know why, I happened to be in the removalist truck between these two big burly guys, and it was like I wasn't there. One leans over and says, she said I was strong. So it's different things that suit us. Well, Anton came from a family where on his 35th birthday, the whole family gave him 2 tea towels. I came from a family where we were celebrity. Oh, tea towels. What, dishcloth. Yeah, things you dry things with. What do you call those? There. Well, we call it a tea towel. There, you learnt something. Anyway, so one of those dish things, you know, that you dry dishes with. And my family were a celebrity for days before our birthdays. You know, Mum used to give us presents for days. Well, I came into the relationship with him and I'm doing all these things that I just think would be so fantastic that I watched my mum do, you know. And like one day, his briefcase, I got it secretly. And you know that confetti, those little confetti hearts? Millions of them in a packet, and they go everywhere. I think this is so good. I tip a whole packet all the way through his briefcase like this. I'm thinking, he's so lucky. He's going to go to this meeting. He's going to open this briefcase. The hearts are going to fall everywhere, and everyone's going to look at him and go, lucky bloke, lucky bloke. So wrong, so wrong. He came home and nearly killed me, you know. So we're all so different. Now, one of the most important questions that you can ask someone you're in a relationship with or your children is this. Now, watch the hand gestures too, because the nonverbals are very important. What do I do that makes you feel that I love you? Now, watch carefully, because what am I saying to you if I do it this way? What do I do that makes you feel that I love you? I'm saying I don't give a rat's about you, but I'm loving me. So you get that? So, and now watch this one. What do I do that makes you feel that I love you? You get a head injury with that one. So when you do it, you have to go like they're landing in cotton wool. So it's what do I do that makes you feel that I love you? Now, I'm having to do it wide, because if I just did it, what do I do that makes you feel that I love you? All of you guys are going, yeah, what about me? Don't you love me? Don't you love me? So when you do it, you can make it a bit narrower, okay? So let's do it all together. So what do I do? No, stop, because most of you went, what do I do? Okay, so gently. What do I do? Did you hear the difference in the voice? That makes you feel that I love you. Nice. We're going to do it again because you got a little enthusiastic on the end. You got a bit bouncy there. Ready? So what do I do that makes you feel that I love you? Oh, that's beautiful. Now, when you go home, don't clap, we haven't got time. Now, when you go home, do not walk in the door and go, what do I do that makes you feel that I love, because they'll think you had an affair while you were here. So, don't do that. You just bring it into the conversation saying, well, she was talking about love and how do we give love. Now, ask your children, because you think you know how to love your children, and I guarantee you'll get a surprise. I guarantee. And then the other thing is, you cannot do this if you're not willing to do what they say. So if somebody says to you, well, and give them time to think about it, because you're having time to think about it now. You're going to spring this on them, so give them a bit of time. And you need to, let's say you go, what do I do that makes you feel that I love you? And they say, I feel loved when you hug me. You cannot go, no, sorry, not a hugger. No, he knew I wasn't a hugger when you married me. Yep, not a hugger. You've got to do it. In fact, that's probably the best spiritual growth for you of all, to do something that you feel uncomfortable doing. So does that make sense? You got that question bedded down? Because that is really important for both your... And by the way, do it at work. Don't go to work and somebody stranger go, hi, what do I do that makes you feel that I love you? Because you'll be sued. But if you say, what do I do that makes you feel that I really value the contribution you make to the organisation? Because we're just guessing. People want recognition and acknowledgement, but some people would love you to give them a ta-da in front of the whole group. Other people would think that was poison. They would much rather you just, gave them a small ta-da in private. So ask people. It's not that hard. Just little things every day. Little changes every day. Staying conscious every day. That's a big thing. But anyway, little moments of consciousness every day. And then if we talk about epigenetics for a minute, this is Bruce Lipton stuff again. Your genes are not controlling your body. Do you know that? Your genes will not control your future. Your genes do not control your future. Your genes are the blueprint for the proteins in your body. I think it's something like 95% of cancer is environmentally caused. It's not caused by your genes. So this is what controls your genes. B-I-E-F-S. What is it? Your beliefs change your genes. So do your perceptions. Your perceptions literally change your genes because both of those are changing the matrix in your petri dish. And that's what changes the genes. That's what changes the nature of the cells. So both of those form the story you tell yourself. And it's, I'm going to have to do another page over here. It's a fairy story. It's not the truth. It's just a fairy story. See, think about this. I've used this example a couple of times, but it's important. In the early days of your relationships, what's the story you told yourself about your partner? Oh, they're fabulous. Oh, that's everything I ever wanted. Fabulous. What's the story you tell yourself now? Yeah. Oh, that was good. Oh my God, what have I done? Oh no, okay, I'm going to kill myself now. See, it's just a story. It's the same person. You've both got habits and patterns of reactions to each other. It's not who you really are. It's not really the petri dish of love. It's just habits and patterns ruled by fear. And then you fight to dominate and get over the fear and this fear and that fear. And it's a story. You've got to change the story. What's the story you tell yourself about your children? See, you can't do this. You can't go, oh, Johnny, I love you. But God, you are never going to be an athlete, are you, darling? No, you don't say that to Johnny, but you think it, and Johnny gets it. What is the story you're telling yourself about your kids? See, they took a school in New York and they tested all the children. And they went to one of the teachers and they said, you've got 3 gifted children in your classroom. We don't want you to tell them. We don't want you to treat them any differently. And at the end of the year, how do you think those 3 children performed? Gifted through the roof. Guess what? They randomly selected 3 children. But because the teacher believed they were gifted, she treated them differently, non-verbally as well. Every non-verbal cue was different. Everybody stand up for a second. And turn to face that wall. Stretch your arms up in the air. Stretch one side all the way over. And then stretch the other side all the way over. And now drop your hands gently onto the shoulders of the person in front of you, even if it's bloke to bloke. And now massage. Go down between the shoulder blades. Keep going down the back. Oh man, you guys are good at this. Keep going down the back, down the back, down the back. Stop above the butt. Stop, 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 stop. Okay, turn around, get your revenge. Go the other way. Shoulders, shoulder blades. Keep going down the back, down the back, down the back. This time, just lightly touch the butt once. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. 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 Quick, quick. Have a seat. Have a seat. You've been sitting a long time. It actually brings me just before we carry on about the stories and your health, fellas. There's a couple of things extra that you need to know about women. One is that women need at least 10 non-sexual touches a day. And you cannot go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Nor can you go 10. We're talking 10 separate individual non-sexual touches a day. And of course, and honestly, some fellas, I think you think you're in the bath or the shower. You're like this. If you knew how we hated this, if you had any idea, you would never do it again. And the other thing is, When we're washing up, fellas, we're washing up. It's like dirty plates, sudsy, icky, focused, washing up. When someone comes up behind us and goes, it's not doing it for us. Seriously? Think twice about it again. The women are sitting here going, yes, yes, and the guys are going, I don't do that. And this is the reason, fellas, because up till the age of 12 or 13, boys and girls have got sensory receptors all over their bodies. And about 12 or 13, testosterone kicks in, and it sucks all the sensory receptors out of the top half of a man's body. It sucks all the sensory receptors out of the bottom half of a man's body, and it focuses them in one spot. Now, women don't know this, because we've got sensory receptors all over our bodies. And men don't know it either. And so when a woman comes into a relationship with a man in the early days, we don't know this. So we're touching his arms and his chest and his back, not that spot, down to the leg, not that spot, over to the other leg. And men put up with this for a while until they go, oh, here, look, boof, bang. And first time, we go, ew, ew. So ladies, what we have to learn is that don't muck about anywhere else. Just like go straight for there. Because, don't tell me I didn't give you anything, fellas. And, yeah, look, yay, go straight for the crotch. And the other thing is, fellas, with us, you need to, see, you think we're like you. And so you just, whomp, 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 whomp. You have so got to go there afterwards. You have so got to get us, you've got to go everywhere except the bits. You've got to go, oh, don't touch, oh, no, don't get. You have to get us to the point where we are going, touch the bits, touch the bits. So that'll give you something to think about when we're talking about joy spots and being a joy spot. So if we go back to the story that you tell yourself, see, now you get a little bit of information and it changes the story you're telling yourself. Because the previous one was based on false information and a fairy story. So now you've got a new story and your behaviour can change. Awesome. And Lance Armstrong, I know he's not Mr. Moral of the Month, okay? But he did have testicular cancer. And when Lance Armstrong had testicular cancer, he went to the world's leading oncologist in Houston, who looked at him and said, you're going to die. Now, 99% of people, when the world's leading oncologist in testicular cancer says to you, you're going to die, what would they do? Go home and die, because the story that they just got lumped on them is they're going to die. Not Lance Armstrong. Lance Armstrong goes, no. Cancer made a mistake. Cancer picked the wrong person. That's literally what he believed. So because he believed that, what does he do? He goes off, he takes a pack a load of drugs, he rides those poor little testicles on push bikes again for 1,000,000 miles, and he bonks famous women. Yeah. Look at your face. I can't believe she said that. She said that. But it's true. Well, take your pick. Death or a few drugs and bonking famous women, if that's your thing. All based on the story. What's the story you are going to tell yourself? Watch very, very carefully. Become conscious. You are God. You are God. I'm working on that one myself. It's such a big concept. No, seriously, I have been working on it really hard. And my 89-year-old psychologist muscle tests me. When she muscle tests me and I say, I am God, I stay strong. So unconsciously I have it. But to get my head around it is still a bit of a leap so far. But it'll be there soon. But what's the story? And become conscious of it. It's all about consciousness, as Wayne said. You've got to be conscious every minute of everything. Stop the past, stop the future, listen. Because the story is your ego. Divine love doesn't have a story other than love. So it's really important. Do you know in primitive cultures, when a witch doctor points a bone at a perfectly healthy person, how long do they take to die? 3 days. Perfectly healthy. Because they believed the witch doctor has the power to curse them with the stick, the bone. Still today, it's happening. The story is really important.